Welcome everybody to J1s podcast, where we have everyone keeping up with the Joneses.
So listen, today we have a wonderful guest. He's one of my really closest friends. I've been knowing him for about 11 plus years.
You're going to get to know exactly everything you can within this short frame of time that we're going to have on this podcast today. But I tell you, you're going to learn a lot about this young man and all of his accolades, okay?
How we are doing this podcast, we're having successful people who juggle their life and their religion, okay, or their duties to their prospective deity or their Almighty God.
This is one of my really close friends, Ryanel Sanchez. How you doing, bud?
Good, man.
Cool. So listen, a question that I haven't been asking that I will start today is, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Good question. But I'm from Long Beach,
You're from Long Beach?
so
What era?
90s.
1990s. So that would be Snoop Dogg himself.
Yeah.
Okay. So you fell in love with hip hop through Snoop Dogg?
Everything that was playing on the radio, that's for sure.
Man,
but it
that's
was
cool.
Long Beach, so, you know,
Man.
I can't say too much from there.
Man, that was a pretty cool era, man. You know how they had that G-Funk sound with mixed with the gangster feel, man. Oh man, Dr. Dre was a wizard, man.
He was.
Man, he's a
He
wizard.
still is.
Yes, he is, man.
Still plays to this day.
I heard he was getting ready to come out with another album.
Don't tease me with that. Don't tease me with that.
Okay, so let's get into who Ryanel Sanchez is, okay? Take us back to your high school days. Growing up, where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Long Beach, California.
Okay.
But I moved out here to Las Vegas for high school.
Okay.
Then once I graduated, I actually moved back to Long Beach.
Okay.
Long Beach is home.
State your age for the viewers.
Why? I'm 34.
34. So we got a timeline of 34 years growing up in Southern California, LBC area. Everybody knows that to be gangster capital of the world. So we'll see how this cool boy came out of the gangster era, being successful in what he does. So what do you do for a living?
I'm actually a postal worker.
Postal worker.
I know.
Is it true what they say about postal workers? Do you guys really go postal?
No, we don't. It's just a meme back in the 90s, that's for sure.
Okay.
But we're actually generally the nicest people you'll run into.
Yeah.
Look for the younger ones for the most part.
Okay.
We're usually really chill.
Man, I know every time I do actually meet postal workers, they are extremely nice and extremely cool. You know, especially the ones that walk up and down the neighborhood to get put out all the mail. You know, really cool people, man.
Yeah.
Always smiling and everything. That's really cool.
Yeah, despite the
So,
heat.
well, of course, despite the heat, but I know you guys carry a whole bunch of water with you, and you know,
Only a gallon.
only.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you were growing up and you moved what made you guys move from Long Beach to Las Vegas?
Well, it's cheaper, of course.
Okay.
But it was one of those things where it was a family decision in a sense.
Yeah.
But honestly, we just uprooted and went. Just went for it.
Wow, man.
I'll tell you one thing. Making those decisions to move sometimes is really hard. But coming from an expensive place to at that time not so expensive, it's actually a really big plus.
It is.
Yeah, because I know that a friend of mine, he had sold his house, and where were they living? I think they were living in the San Diego area.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I said area.
Yeah.
So San Diego area. So they sold their house. They had a 4-bedroom. I think it was like 2,500 square foot home, and they sold it for like $2 million. They came here and bought 3 houses, and still had a lot of money left over.
Yeah.
You know, so the market back then was really, really good.
It was back in
6?
05.
Okay.
05, yeah. That's when they bought, and then they got more houses now, but of course it's it's a great thing to get into real estate, right?
Not at the moment,
Not at the moment.
but I could go into a lot of detail.
So we're gonna get into that because you have told me something a couple of years ago that is literally happening today, and we'll get back to that question later on in our podcast. Okay, so Brother Ryanel, when you guys got to Las Vegas, what sculpted you to become the person that you are?
That's a church, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
My wife, she actually tells me that I've always been this way. It's just, I never was able to really just let it out.
Ah, okay.
You know, I think I was too afraid to actually just be me.
But back then you were like Khadija president and so forth. So you were kind of leadership, but yet you had to take a back seat to like the older brethren, right? So you had to pretty much learn how to become strong in your own person, right?
Well, I was kind of just thrown into it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it was that got me to just, you know, like why I was, I guess, asked to step up. It was my first office, literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, God willing, I was like, okay, you know what? If this is it, then this is it.
But I know you guys had so many willing brethren that were Khadija who were just like eager.
Yes.
Eager to just jump in there with you guys. And I want to say what's up to King Lou Dan.
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man.
Good coming in. Wait, thank you for logging in, bro. Man.
Yeah, you're right about that. For sure, it was not because of myself.
Yes.
It was everybody that God provided that I was surrounded with.
Okay.
So it was just a matter of like, you know, praying for the right things, especially like the qualities as a leader. And I don't know what else, to be honest. It
Right.
just happened.
Right.
And I don't know how we did what we were doing, but
Would you look at yourself as being like more opportunistic rather than just following?
being opportunistic is something that I find I really don't like, because
Right.
it's like you're sitting and waiting and all of a sudden you see something you could take advantage of.
Right.
I don't find that to be a very good quality as a leader.
Right.
Because as a leader, you're going to stand for something and believe in something,
That's right.
even though the majority do not. Okay? So that's why I could not be opportunistic.
Right.
I would prefer to just take charge.
Man, I'll tell you one thing. I also agree with you because I know of a lot of very opportunistic people, and they don't come across as being extremely genuine.
About this, I like this. The way you look at things, being opportunistic as opposed to being just a great, good leader. Okay, so by being opportunistic, it might seem to be a hard quality or a bad quality to have, but yet on the other hand, it might serve as a useful tool. I guess that would be the way that a person would utilize his opportunities well, right?
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to sit and wait for an opportunity, what about all that time that you had wasted waiting?
Oh man. Yeah, I guess that would come about where you have to be a really good leader and actually fill in your time that you would be waiting for that opportunity.
Yes.
In actual leading and actual doing what it is that you need to have done, right?
Exactly. So,
Like if you were proposed to have a big event for your organization, right? Then you would have a whole plan into place, doing this, that, and the other, and yet the opportunity that would present itself, if it was to come, you would see it immediately, and up to you whether you would take that or not, right?
my thing is that, yeah, definitely fill your own glass. Don't wait for somebody to fill it for you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And for those who just end up who choose to wait for the opportunity, it's like they're gonna go. There are a lot of people who will just complain about basically we're wasting time complaining about wasting time.
Right.
Go out and do it. It's simple.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. Just get up, go out, and do it. There's so many opportunities for a person to actually get things done, especially in this time, right? Because a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are sitting at home doing whatever it is that they're doing. Maybe they wanted to go out in the backyard and build a patio. Or maybe they wanted to take on a project in their garage or something like that, right? Or maybe even just put up some shelves in their own bedroom, you know? But if they never took that time to put it into action, then it's never going to get done, right?
Exactly.
You know, we live in a time right now where we don't know what's to come in the next 2 weeks, let alone 5 years, right? You know, but once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's take it back to where we were.
Okay, so growing up in Las Vegas, you have structure from the church. Can you state the name of the church?
Iglesia ni Cristo.
Iglesia ni Cristo, the Church of Christ, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is a great question, and I'm glad you said the Church of Christ, because I want to ask you personally, what made you decide? Because I do know that for a time, or is it still, you're the only member of your original family, right?
Yes.
To be a member of the Church of Christ, the Iglesia ni Cristo, right?
Both sides.
So, what made you decide? Okay, you have Mormons out there, you have Catholics, you have, I mean, umpteen thousands of different religions, and I know you personally, so I know you actually checked up on all of these religions.
The major ones.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, why? Why did you choose the Church of Christ?
Well, God works in mysterious ways.
Amen.
I'm sure we've heard that many times, especially for those who are in the church.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I had been exposed to the church since I was a child.
Okay.
And I've been looking for a religion that actually reads from the Bible ever since I could ever remember. Now, I grew up Catholic. I questioned everything.
Everything.
And anything.
Did they look at you like you was some kind of weirdo?
Yeah. Even my parents were always telling me, like, it's not good to question these things.
Right.
But why not? Because we can't just hold the Bible and, you know, idolize it. Why? It's a book. Open it. And I even told my parents, like, well, it says over here, why are we worshiping a picture or a statue when
Right.
that is clearly an idol?
Right.
But they have no answer.
Right.
I have exposed myself to Mormons. I had Mormon friends out here in Las Vegas. Not that, you know, it's typical of Vegas, but
Well, yeah. Well, you know,
could be anywhere.
there's a lot of Mormons in Vegas, you know.
And I had and been introduced to the Muslim faith,
Okay.
whether it be the two different sects that are in the Muslim religion, Shia or I already forgot the other one.
Right.
I have been exposed to Buddhism. Let's just say you name it. Okay, I don't want to drag on when it comes to different religions that I've been
Right.
exposed to, but that-
This one here.
through my formative years, I have been constantly searching. But once I moved out on my own, that's when I was actually been able to check out
Right.
the Bible studies,
Right.
and it was no turning back.
If I'm not mistaken, your parents are Catholic, right?
They are.
Okay, so I would understand why when you were a child or a youth, when you were in your questioning or searching phase, you know, they were like, look, you need to do it this way because this is the way we've been doing it all of our lives.
Traditionally speaking.
Traditions are very strong.
Yes.
You know, in the Catholic religion, actually in a lot of religions, there are very strong traditions in place. But you went against that, and you decided, okay, I want to do this one. What was that deciding thing that made you say this one?
Well, whatever question that I threw, there was an answer for it.
There was
And
an answer, right?
It was out of the Bible.
See?
It was plain and clear. I even told my family, like, I'd rather be correct than to live my life a lie. So,
you'd rather be correct than to live your life as a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That is very profound. And how old were you at that time?
19.
19-year-old kid, man. Yeah, man, I tell you, you're extremely smart. You know, I think you might be a genius, but we don't know yet. So when you grasped this at 19 years old, right, and you said, okay, well, I decide this one, and mom and dad, I'm gonna do this one. What was their reaction?
Actually, I did not tell them.
You didn't.
No.
Okay.
You could say that I was a coward. You could say what you will. Yeah, I was afraid of their reaction.
Right.
But why even deal with it? You know, in a sense, yeah, I was running away because it was going to be inevitable. I already knew how they were going to feel.
But eventually, you had to face them,
Yes.
and you did. And what did they say?
Well, I was of course disowned.
Right.
But after a couple of years, I was finally reaccepted, and they have noticed the difference in how I carry myself.
Right.
What else? The way I, treat others as well.
Right.
So, yeah, it's they saw it was for the better. So
that's good.
I remember one time, not to go too far into this, but there was a person who was going through Bible lessons, and their mom said, "Oh, that's a cult, and you shouldn't go to that." And I remember a minister said, "It's a cult, right? Well, are you learning things? Are you changing your life for the better? Are you doing the commandments, what the commandments say do?
Yeah.
Are you following God's will?" Well, if that's a cult, then I think that I want to be part of that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you have to research that word, because that's a very negative word that you're going to put on something that you really don't know nothing about. So before people would stand up and say bad things about something, make sure you know everything that you can about what it is that you're, downplaying.
In order to, because there's a big debate, and I'm sure that if somebody wanted to debate you about that situation, I'm sure that you'd come out on top about it.
I'm always willing to debate about
Yeah,
anything.
look at you, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. Before you graduate high school, right? Did you have a plan in place? Like they told me when you're a junior, you should already know what you're going to be doing before you graduate high school, right?
No.
You didn't?
No, not at all.
Okay. Explain that to me.
Explain what? Like, as soon as I graduated, basically I just uprooted from Vegas and went to California.
Wow.
With just a backpack.
With just a backpack?
Yeah, and zero
What?
money in my account. What's up? Come here.
Wow, this is intriguing because I know your success and I know the things that you're doing now, and I know that your independence at a very young age, even now, ever since I've known you, you've been independent, but yet very strong and fair. So that is something cool that I've never heard, that you just uprooted, got a backpack, and just said, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it's something just basically told me just go back home. And Long Beach was home at the time.
Right.
When I was living out here, so I was like, all right, I'm out. I just dipped.
So you dipped. What happened in Long Beach that changed? Because I know that once you got to Long Beach, something changed in you that made you extremely strong, and I'm trying to find what that is.
That's a good question.
Man, is it somebody that is close to you? Somebody that may have...
If you're alluding to my wife, that's a fair assumption.
Yeah?
However, it was actually church.
Wow.
Because, there were all these signs and signals that were just telling me, hey, just go back home.
Yeah.
Because during the time when I graduated high school, there was only Henderson Chapel. Basically Old Vegas.
Right. They're way out there off of...
Desert Inn or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I didn't know much about it. But anyway, I just went back to Long Beach, and I was just asked to go to church one day, and that was it.
And that was it?
2.5 months later, when Bible studies were really fast forward, I got baptized.
Man,
literally.
That is crazy. Everybody that I know that were converted, their first time coming, was literally that was the day that changed their life. And it was because of something that was said during the worship service, or they read during the, not worship service, but the Bible study that was said or read, that literally snapped.
It clicked.
You know?
Yeah.
And then that was that. Like for me, it was the true nature of our Lord Jesus Christ. Right? Before then, I knew not why, though everybody out there called him God. You know? And I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows my story by now. So you guys know my story. If you don't know my story, go to incmedia.org and watch Brother Freddie's convert story, and you guys can find out. And I tell you, you might learn something there.
You know, but this guy right here, at 19 years old, he leaves and he goes to California and he finds his life.
Yes.
Wow, that's super cool, man. So after that, growing up, you did odd jobs here and there.
Yes.
What led you to the postal service?
Well, during, of course, my generation, you're a little bit older than I am, so pretty much not same generation. The 2004, 2000 up to 2007, rocky years.
Yeah.
Like politically speaking, like yeah, I'm a political science major, so I'm trying not to get too deep into it. But
A lot of us.
We're actually going to have a second portion to this one here, because I know for a fact that we're running out of time. But we will come back probably next week. We'll talk about it. Probably next week we'll come back with him to have the full interview. Okay?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So let's keep going until we just run out of juice.
you got it.
Okay? So with that said, poli-sci, hit me there.
Okay, so back while I was in California, 2004 to 2008.
Yeah.
And it was just rough because, especially during 2006, 2007, when everything crashed.
Yeah.
Like, you have multiple families living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, there was myself and then my friends, like, and their family. Like, it was, like, in a 2-bedroom home.
Wow.
Like, it was ridiculous. And that's what led myself to come back out to Vegas. Of course, it was cheaper. Like, come on, $600 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Right.
Like, you can't really beat that.
Right.
Well, that was back then. And that was right after the crash. So, of course, it's natural that things would be cheap. But we can go deeper into that next time. But growing up, especially during high school, like, all my likes and dislikes, or the things that I've always been into, have happened to be relative to politics.
Yeah.
But I'll just leave that there, okay? But now I'm back in Vegas,
Right.
2008, and I'm just like attending normally.
Is this when you met your wife?
No, we've known each other since we were 4.
Really? That's right. I remember you telling me that a long time ago. Okay. Man. Okay, so keep going.
Yeah, and yeah, that's when we moved back out here. We moved out here to Las Vegas.
Okay.
The opportunities were pretty much non-existent in California.
Right.
So it was like, I guess Vegas was you could say the cheapest and closest to family and home at the same time.
Right.
So now that pretty much answers the question from earlier.
Yep.
So I guess that would be the main reason as to coming back out here to Las Vegas.